And welcome back. We're picking up where we left off last time in a legionnary's life. In the last part, we participated in the siege of New Carthage and the storming of it and taking the city over. In this part, we're going to continue the story from where we left off last time and see if we get lucky and die, or if we can continue our streak of not dying. I have, in previous plays completely by myself, survived at least through the initial campaign, so let's see if we can do the same in this one. It's over a year since the capture of New Carthage. The Carthaginians have failed to respond properly. Hindered by rivalries and a lack of cooperation amongst their generals. After winter came and went, Proconsul Scipio sent you on the move once again, marching against the closest enemy army. Led by Hasdrubal Barca, one of Hannibal's brothers. The Carthaginians are holding a high two-step plateau near the town of Basilio. A fine defensive position indeed, at least from our perspective. Dislodging them from there looks like a rather hopeless task, but the proconsul must know what is clear to everyone. The longer you stay here waiting, the higher the risk the remaining two armies will come and crush you. The wait is nerve-wracking. And at last comes the dreaded order. The assault begins. Apparently your skirmishers, the Velites, will have to engage the enemy light infantry holding the lower plateau. Picked units of heavy infantry are ordered to support them. That's certainly an unenviable task. With relief, you learn that your maniple will be kept in reserve. The frontal assault is underway when the proconsul Scipio himself takes the lead of half of the remaining forces. As the Carthaginians are busy repelling your soldiers, he leads you around to their position. You are climbing the slopes at a fast pace when a small group of Numidian cavalrymen approach and start harassing you with their javelins. The terrain is far from propitious for a cavalry tank, but they keep on pressing you. So, we're presented with two choices. We can keep marching, which means we're going to get harassed and stuff might happen. Or we could respond by, because arguably they're probably throwing javelins at us. They're riding by their cavalry and chucking stuff at us, right? We could respond by throwing back, which, if we're skilled enough at throwing, will make us look good. If we're not, it's going to make us look silly. We're going to take the risk. You take aim at one of the closest horsemen, and he barely evades your missile. We fail the check. But that was a barely evade, so we don't look that bad. At last, they recoiled their attack and ran away. We pass an endurance check as we reach the plateau, so we're walking up a plateau, and we didn't get particularly winded going. We shake off the weariness and prepare to fight. Looks like Hasdrubal has sent the reinforcements to his first line, but they're only partially deployed and not clearly expecting you. You charge the nearest group into the flank. When the other side is at the right distance, you prepare to hurl your first javelin. Or, well, in our case, because we just threw one a little bit earlier, our second. We missed the last throw, so we're not going to take the risk. We're going to just throw it at the enemy ranks. We decide to play it safe and hurl our javelin in the general direction of the hostile troops. And our javelin, once again, as when we're aiming at an entire combat unit, disappears into the ranks of the foe. We can't say what damage it caused, if at all, but it at least produced some confusion at worst, and at best, didn't make us look bad. As the other side gets closer and closer, you steel yourself for the incoming fight. So because we got the element of surprise, we're actually 2v1ing a guy. We still don't have javelins, so we're going to take a defensive posture on the approach. And one advantage of their defensive posture is the opposition has given us an opening by missing us. So let's adapt an aggressive posture in response and go quickly for that feint attack to try to drive his stance even lower. And then follow that up with a knock to drive his stance into the ground and fail the follow-up. Our friend, however, did not fail his follow-up. So now we're actually in a pretty good state. We can either follow up an attack, which due to our lowered stance, not as successful. But this is an opening situation. We can recover here. So we'll recover and be prepared to go on the offensive. We go in for a knock. I think we'll just go in for a normal feint. Try to get a stance. The bottom 25%. This looks like a good time to come in for an attack. Now, the Libyan spearman we're fighting this time, unlike the militia from earlier, is a little bit more of a quality soldier. So even with his stance as damaged as it is, we don't have quite the great odds of catching him in the neck. But he is open enough we can go for a headshot, which we'll do. Of course, we smack straight into his helmet. Maybe that wasn't the smartest attack. Let's pick a different place to attack. In this case, I think we're probably better off going for someplace that isn't armored. Our sword didn't really affect the helmet last time, so let's go for unarmored positions. So we're going to either go for an arm or a leg hit. Let's go for a leg hit. So one of the things that leg hits do is it drives up the enemy's fatigue on hit. So we got a little bit lucky. Well, let's say we got a hit off and driving his fatigue up another level, so it actually makes him even more vulnerable to being attacked. Yeah, let's not risk trying to hit an armored portion that our weapon's not going to go through. We're going to keep going for leg hits. It's pretty close to being kaput, so we may score a kill with a leg hit. Oh, no. Well, we'll go for the leg one more time. I think if we get a hit on him, it will take him down. Oh, he's recovering his stance. Let's go to recover our stance. And adopt an attack posture. We got a pretty bad likelihood of hitting him. But if we hit him, we do kill him, so it's probably not worth the rigmarole of trying to drive his stance down. We're just going to try to go for a killing blow. And get lucky and deliver that blow. First kill of the second battle. Now, as is often the case in formation battles, when you kill the guy in front of you, a different guy will simply either take his place because they intend to, or your line rolling up on their line replaces him with a different guy in the enemy formation. So, once again, we're back to having another Libyan spearman in front of us. One that is a little bit less fatigued than the last one, to be fair. So we're going to go in with a feint. Quick feint. Try to give us an opening. We'd like a little bit bigger of an opening. Well, good thing our friend has armor. He did just get hit, but his armor held up and prevented all the damage. The situation is shifting. We won't be able to keep facing the current enemy for much longer, which is probably fine for us because we're getting a little exhausted in all the fighting. We will attempt to drive his stance down a little bit. There is a potential, because there's two of us, that we might be able to bring him down if we get a good break in his stance. At this point, it's probably not going to happen. We'll go for a respite, try to recover a little bit of our fatigue. Eventually, the enemy formation starts breaking apart. Very soon, the panic spreads as their wavering turns into a rout. Attacked from all sides, the Carthaginian line is collapsing. Many are taken prisoner, but in the meantime, the bulk of Hasdrubal's forces manage to escape. At last, you are ordered to plunder the enemy camp. You set to the task with renewed enthusiasm. We gained 5 morale. The enemy camp is a bit of a disappointment. Looks like the Carthaginians were able to take most of their valuables with them when they retreated. So I can stay with a large group, or we can split up and search from the tents. We'll split up and search from the tents. We haven't been hit. We're not that fatigued. We're not that worried about running into stragglers. We enter an apparently empty tent with Nasidus, a short, stout soldier with a permanent smirk, and start searching. After a while, our companion finds a finely crafted bracelet, clearly intends to hand it over to the Legion. We could propose we could keep it for ourselves and sell it for later. But obviously that would not be virtuous. We'll engage in a little bit of virtue and say, that's exactly what he's supposed to do, of course! There's a little more you can accomplish here. Hasdrubal is heading north, intent on crossing the Pyrenees with the remnants of his army. The proconsul refused to pursue him, and many of the troops are frustrated with this decision. We passed an int check, but you are glad that he came to this decision. Falling Hasdrubal now, with 2 more enemy armies behind you, could be a prelude to disaster. This would jeopardize all the efforts we've made in the last 2 years. The Carthaginians you captured are sold into slavery, and the revenue is shared among the troops. Skippy orders the Celtiberian prisoners to be released, and this will help secure more alliances with the local tribes. We've gained 30 denarii. Fighting in real battle once again has sharpened our skills, and we're in the 3rd training phase. And again, we have pretty superb morale. This point, I think I might give up on practicing javelin. Maybe. Don't know, we'll see how many times we in a row we fail javelin practice. So we're going to do javelin practice. Well, we succeeded, so maybe we'll come back and try it every once in a while. And then we're sparring. Much as we hit the point where sparring alone didn't seem to improve our skills, you eventually hit that with sparring with anyone you come across. Let's try to find a good sparring partner. We're well-liked enough to have a slim chance, so we're kind of caught in the catch-22. We need to raise our opinion amongst the troops. So we're going to go ahead and do some dice playing to try to raise our opinion amongst the troops. And, well, we might end up doing some javelin practice. Or maybe we'll do some workout. Quickness, endurance, coordination, endurance, strength, and constitution. We'll do strength and constitution. We'll get some gains. Yeah, we're basically working our overexpression down. And we had a threat of life. A large group of bandits is operating in the hinterlands. 3 squads of 20 men each are assembled to deal with them and assert our control over the territory. We are a part of this task force. You approach the bandits' territory with the assistance of some local guides, each unit set to comb through the woodlands in search of the outlaws' hideout. Suddenly, javelins and sling bullets start flying all around you. Your quick reaction keeps you safe, because we practice enough defense, we know how to defend ourselves. Attacking from 2 sides, the bandits are upon you before you can think. Okay, well, we're not able to do a ranged fire, so we're going to do a close-in and defensive stance. One thing kind of going for us right now is that they're pretty badly armored. So we may be able to get off some aggressive maneuvers, maybe we're taking one down. We'll see. Okay, our armor just absorbed a hit, which is good to see. Apparently our armor is doing work, which is not really how we want things to go. We'd rather our ability to dodging to be doing it, not the work of our armor. Armor means that we're getting a little close for comfort. Anyway, let's swap to defensive and try to recover our stance. We can't be comfortable accepting risk at the moment. We're outnumbered, and we don't, because this is a random event. We don't know how long this fight is going to be. There may be no help coming for us. Oh, apparently we have pretty decent odds simply just going in for the kill, because of their poor skill and poor armor. So let's do that. Let's go straight in for a grain shot. Follow up another one. And again. Now let's try to recover our stance. Okay, we're in a good place for going back on the attack. Coming with a torso swing. Okay, we've gone and even the fight. It's now 1-1 again. It's coming for a knock. Apparently we were much better at shield fighting than the opposition. And now that he's nice and vulnerable, it's coming for a neck shot. And there we go. 2 kills for us. From the Vanquished, we take the following spoils. Nothing. We take nothing from the Vanquished. Though, they had 6 denarii worth of other stuff. You've killed them. At last. You look around, many of your own are wounded or dead. We managed to not get wounded, so that's good. You count 27 dead bandits. Your work is done. Prepare for the long journey back to the camp. Okay, so we need to... We're up from Slim. We're at small chance of success, but we still need to raise that opinion of the troop. Let's go and make our sacrifice. How much money do we have? We'll hold off for the next training sequence before we do another buy-sell. We're gonna go back and work out in the gym for, I think, the rest of the time. The thread of life is spun. You are having a chat with Gaius, a Semonite auxiliary of the Punic tribe. Gavius has been telling you about his home, so close to where the war against Hannibal is at its worst. You can't help but thinking of your home. We can be homesick or imperturbable. We'll be imperturbable. We pass our charisma chest. You know you can help your home and family only by doing your best here and now. There is no other way. We gain some morale because we passed our charisma chest. So we convinced ourselves that we're doing what we need to do. Okay, we're at the point where we need to burn well, actually, we got so much morale, I'm just going to work through it. We'll take a little bit of morale hit, but that'll be fine. Time is over. Time to move on to the next main battle. As soon as we feel ready. With morale very high, on to battle we go. When your third spring in this land, so far away from home comes, Rome is in control of most of eastern Hispania. Your progress has been admirable, but the war is still far from over. The departure of Hasdrubal Barca and the remnants of his army brought some relief, but the Carthaginians have not been sitting around this time. According to the latest reports from the west, a new general named Hanno is raising an army, recruiting Celtiberian volunteers after bringing reinforcements from his homeland. Your legion is attached to a 10,000-strong army under the orders of M. Salinius, one of Scipio's legates, and sent west to cope with this new threat. The Celtiberian and Carthaginian camps in Spania. Time is of the essence, and your forced march is almost beyond tolerable limits. We happen to fail an endurance check here. If we'd got some more endurance, we maybe have succeeded at. You feel you won't be able to cope with this frantic pace for much longer. And of course, the only cost was a little bit of morale, which I think we can tolerate. Morale is really high. With the invaluable help of some of the Celtiberian deserters, you eventually come close to the enemy's position. When news of what ahead of you starts spreading, you learn that there are two enemy camps. One of composed Celtiberian volunteers, and the other Carthaginians. Apparently they don't like to camp together. The first one, which would have been the Celtiberian volunteers, is much less defended, an ideal point of attack. But Salinius wants us to play it safe, and is preparing more scouting teams. Let's volunteer. Let's be aggressive. A Velus named Calvinius and Iborius, a Celtiberian guard, will be your scouting team. Because we went on the scouting team, we've gained some opinion from our centurion, some opinion from our proconsul. Iborius knows the ground full well, and lets you approach with the enemy position with minimal risks. When you're very close, you have to cross a stretch of land with poor cover in order to get a better look. So we could settle for a mediocre observation point, or take the risk. Well, we've taken a little bit of risk by volunteering. We're going to play it a little bit safe by settling for a mediocre observation point. From what we can see, which apparently isn't very much, we failed the awareness and inch check, you can at least corroborate in broad terms what the guides have already told you. When you're satisfied, you signal the others that you can go back. You're about 1 mile from the camps. A gentle breeze is stirring the vegetation all around you. For the moment, you think you might have heard something, but it's probably the wind. After a while, you reach the valley where the bulk of your army is hidden, and report what you've learned. Everything is ready now. It's time to approach the enemy camp and get prepared for the onslaught. Hopefully none of the stuff we didn't see or hear was a problem. The irregular ground offers plenty of cover as your army approaches the Celtiberian camp. You are not very distant when it comes into sight. The defenders must have just started pouring out of the camp. They are still too late, but you were expecting a slower reaction. The ground is very difficult here, and it's disrupting your formation. Like many others, you become separated from your maniple while passing through a patch of undergrowth. An enemy vanguard reaches you right at this time, and many duels spark off. One of the Celtiberian troops is looking at you, ready to fling his spear. We can focus on trying to defend ourselves from the incoming spear, or we can try to anticipate him and throw ours first. Well, we haven't been injured yet before a fight, so we're at full health. We're going to take the risk. We're going to chuck our own spear first. And our attack spoils his aim. His missile falls wide off his mark. Granted, we didn't do any damage to him, so basically both of us threw and missed, but we're pretending that the difference there was that we threw first. That caused him not to take his time to aim, so we didn't get hit. We're going to adopt an aggressive stance, because we still have a javelin, and we're going to chuck that javelin. Early hit. This is a Scutarius, so he's actually got decently high quality skill, so we're not having an easy time at trying to find a weak spot in his defenses. Oh, and we've been hit. Our stance is still strong. Okay, he's opened up a little bit, giving us a good potential to come in. think we're still going to be coming off better with a quick feint. Followed up with a knock. Missed the knock. He goes for recover. I'll go for recover. But because he recovered, I should get mine off to undisturbed. This doesn't let him to get his off undisturbed. But we'll go back to feinting. Looking for our vulnerability. Going for a knock. Miss the knock once again. He recovers, we recover. We go in for another quick feint. He screws up his shot, giving us an opening to come in for another knock. And we screw that knock up. He recovers, we'll recover. He actually gets a decent feint off, then misses up his following attack. We're going to go in for a recover, because we want a decent stance. He recovers, we'll recover again, making sure we both on full stance. Oof. Gets a hit off on us, on our arm. Let's keep trying to feint. Oof, we're not coming off particularly great in this fight. We got a vulnerability. Let's go in for a little bit, another feint, try to open up a little bit wider. No dice. Oh, our stance is bad. So let's go into defensive and try to recover our stance. Okay, we recovered our stance. Let's go in for a feint, why his stance is weaker than ours. Okay, for once we got a pretty good opening here, so we're going to come in for the attack. We're going to go in for a leg shot. Missed the leg shot. He gave us an opening to recover, so we'll use it. He takes the opening in response. We'll go in for a straight forcer strike and miss. We get hit in the groin. Swap over to defense and try to recover our stance. No, we're just going to stick to the defense at this point. We're not doing particularly great. Okay, his stance is pretty low, so let's come in for an attack. Go in for an arm attack this time. Get a hit off. Follow up with another one, please. And we're gonna keep following this up, hopefully until we can get him to die or fall back. There we go. Our maniple quickly reforms after we all succeeded in our individual duels, and prepares to meet a second wave. The Carthaginian light infantry is rushing to the aid of the Celtiberians, filling the gaps in their formation. We're going to take a defensive posture as we close in. Now at least we're facing an inexperienced person, though we are quite winded, so we should be careful. Because of the low stance, I think we're going to go straight into chopping at the enemy. What's the secondary on grind? Extra damage. Yeah, let's just go for the extra damage. Okay, he's managed to recover his stance. Oof, and he gets off an attack in response. And there we go. That's our first death in the stream. So I think the previous fight we got pretty badly mauled. I think I've done that fight better in the past. So we got a score of 82. I think this is actually probably the earliest in the campaign I have died. Yeah. So before we actually made some rank in previous runs that I've done. This is probably a good time to go ahead and put a part break in, seeing as we simply just failed our run. If you're watching on YouTube, I am going to record more parts. As usual, the stream is going to be 4 to 5 parts long. But obviously the next part will be on a new Legionnaire's life. If you're watching Twitch, feel free to hang around. We're going to take a short break between parts for me to rest the voice a little bit. I think it is time for me to make a new cup of tea, because the cup of tea that I have in front of me is about to disappear. So if you are watching on Twitch or YouTube, I hope you have been enjoying. Until next time, wish you all the best of luck and a good time. Catch you all in the next part, or the next stream if you're going to watch a different stream, or different YouTube video. With that, bye for now.